All right, we're officially live.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the premiere of the Awkward Vibes. Because everybody has a story, no matter how awkward it is, everyone has one. With me today is best friend Sierra and new friend Stephanie, who I found on TikTok, and I was just like, I love her story. I want her here to tell it. So Stephanie, take it away. Or if you want to start with your story with like just the basics, the who and the what and the where.
There's so much.
I was like, where I will try. Like, okay, so I'm married to an active duty Marine who I am now going through a divorce with. I filed in April. We haven't gone yet. October 7th is whenever we'll have our first hearing. But I am currently in the process of seeking accountability for him assaulting me and threatening me and all of the above. It's a lot to get into, but yeah.
That's a lot.
So, where did you guys meet?
So we actually met on Tinder. I don't advise it.
So how did you go from Tinder to get like married, or like what was that time span?
So he had to go to traffic school because he was stationed in Yuma, Arizona. So I was still living in New Braunfels, Texas, which is like 30 minutes. Man, I'm bad with cardinal directions. 30 minutes north of San Antonio. And so he had to go to San Antonio for traffic school. And before he did that, I guess he paid for like Tinder Premium or whatever, and he changed his location to that area, which is how we matched. So it was like a month and a half or so before he actually had to check in for school that we started talking and connected, and he sold me the dream, and he's really good with his words when he wants to be. And so he ended up going to San Antonio a week before he had to check in. And so he went and stayed with me. It was the first time that we met in person. And then on 4th of July, we had like a barbecue, and he asked my oldest, which is my only daughter, she's 17 now, but he asked her permission to marry me and then proposed to me on 4th of July. And then we got married July 30th, which is the day before he had to go back to Yuma.
Did you go with him at that point, or that was like later that you went to Yuma?
No, that was, I didn't get to Yuma until August 23rd. So a little less than a month later. Yeah.
Okay. I need to put your TikTok name up there. Sorry. Like I just went completely left. Okay.
I was like, what?
So, can you give us some highlights from some of the TikToks, or like, because it's different chapters. We're waiting for chapter 10 to come out. So, we're excited to see chapter 10 and like what's going on there. But like from, what is it, chapter 1 through 9, can you give us the highlights?
So chapter 1 was pretty much, I think I covered how I met him and everything I just kind of said. And then becoming friends with his best friend's wife. I call her G. Her name is Giselle. I don't care. I'm going to put her name out there. And so she was I thought, a very close friend. Like I felt an instant connection with her. And she always seemed to, have my best interest at heart. But then it turned out she was playing me the whole time. And she was secretly friends with my husband's, at the time, thought baby mama, whose name is Olivia. Actually, I got to do an episode on this because Olivia, it's not even her real name. Her name is Brandy. I just found this out because somebody else on TikTok reached out to me and said, "Oh, Olivia cheated, or Olivia had an affair with my husband." And so the little girl G that didn't turn out to be my husband's, actually, she tried saying that was the other lady's kid, the other lady's husband's kid, before she said it was my husband's kid.
Oh, girl. Yeah, she needs a chapter on her own.
Yes.
We need that chapter.
Okay, so anyway, Olivia and Giselle turned out to be like low-key friends. The whole time Giselle's trying to like sabotage mine and Mark's relationship. And then it goes into my first message that I got on Facebook from a girl saying she's been having an affair since we got married with him. And I felt, in a sense, trying to convince me to leave him. I wasn't at the point ready. To me, like, infidelity, we're humans, we're sexual. Like, we can work past it, you know. But so I wasn't ready to leave him at that point. He did disappear those 2 weeks in October, which he was staying with Olivia, and then filed divorce behind my back, and then 2 weeks later canceled it and moved back in, and then ditched me for the ball, and then ditched me for Thanksgiving, FaceTimed with one of his other side chicks with his family, and then December was gone. He ditched me for Christmas to spend it with one of his side chicks and her family. Same chick, he spent it with New Year's Eve with her. And all of December pretty much was gone a lot. But my son during December was in Texas with his dad. So through all of that chaos, thankfully he wasn't there. But beginning of January, I filed legal separation, and then a week later went on a date with another Marine who I completely and absolutely regret screwing over because I love him. To this day, I still love him. I left him like 4 times to get back with Mark, and I pretty much ruined a good thing for a piece of shit. But yeah, no, that's whenever, like, at the beginning of that, I ended up finding I was pregnant, and then Mark went with me to the hospital initially and left me at home, left me walking because he had to go to work and couldn't even like give me an Uber or anything.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah. Oh, that's the episode I called you on, and I was mad. I called her mad.
She was heated.
Yes. I literally, because he left the hospital and then they came in and told me, and I'm like, can I wait here for a second? Because I was just crying by myself. Finally gathered myself together enough to get up and go to the waiting room, and then I started crying there. So I like sat down. I was just like literally crying, walking, and like back to base from the hospital. So it was like bad, but later on, we were going to marriage counseling, and so he wanted to work things out and canceled the legal separation. The next day found him at the bar with another girl. His ring was off.
I like that episode. That was a good one.
Yeah. And then 2 or 3 days later, I get a knock on my door from the police questioning me about an incident where I pulled a gun out on him, and I'm like, what? Like, I was completely like shocked.
Yeah.
Like shocked. And I'm like, please come in. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, first of all, that's not even my style. Like, I would punch him in the face before I ever pulled a gun out on him.
Yeah.
I don't even own a gun. Like, what? You know, so it was just insane that whole day. And then I ended up finally, because I'd never, when he assaulted me, because he assaulted me February 22nd in our kitchen. And then an Applebee's in front of everyone on March 13th. Yeah. And so I wasn't going to report that. Like, to me, that's something that I was going to handle behind closed doors. And so while he's sitting here making false police reports, I felt like I'm going to have to speak up. You know, like, I did nothing wrong. I'm like, you guys don't know what he's done. And finally I had to just make the reports and tell him like everything. And at that point I still hadn't even told him everything. That was in March, and I didn't tell him everything until May. So that was that. In April, he tried to get me evicted from our house. He turned off my phone while I was on a conversation with legal. He took the COVID money that wasn't even entitled to him, and he was trying to take my car. And he violated my protective order. So, and he wasn't arrested. But I think he's actually going to be charged in the Marine Corps for that. I just talked to the prosecutor last week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was that. And then there's the episodes where I explained where he was trying to reel me back in and crying and saying like, you can report me if you want. And now hindsight's 2020. So I'm like, he was only telling me that with hopes that I wouldn't report him. I told him it's already reported. I can't take it back. Like, they have all the evidence, you know?
Yeah.
So He's like, my career's over and I have nothing. Like, all I do is think about G, like the little girl he thought was his, and us, and he doesn't want to get divorced and just all this stuff. And then I saw him at the bar with Caitlin, which I'm gonna do actually a chapter, some bonus. I'm gonna have to upload it, but one of the girl Caitlin that he cheated on me with, I haven't mentioned her yet, and I'm gonna do a whole episode on her because I have no respect for her.
I'm so excited.
No respect for her. I saw him at the bar with her, and then I mentioned that I saw him at the bar with her. But it'll come later, but June 28th, she accessed my medical records and told Mark I was in the hospital. And he wasn't on my emergency contacts or anything at that time. And I'm like, so I tried to make a compliance report on it, and they were like, well, she was on your case that night. And I'm like, no, there should have been an ethical, obligation for her to remove herself because she's screwing my husband. Like, so it's, I'm going to put her pictures up and everything.
Yes.
The girl.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
That's my petty side kicking in.
Yeah. So then I did my accountability meetings because I was following up on the infidelity, and they're like, oh, well, they decided not to charge him with infidelity. And I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, I have all of these messages from these women. I have him audio recorded admitting to it. What do you mean you're not going to charge him? And then this is where I had it recorded from the base commanding officer, his SJA, which is the attorney, telling me, at the end of the day, the CO doesn't owe you explanation. His concern isn't civilians, it's their Marines. And so pretty much like, we don't give a crap about you. We don't owe you anything, and goodbye, So thankfully I have that recorded. And went around that day, did my accountability meetings, and the next day, that's whenever I met that soldier who sexually assaulted me. So after that's kind of whenever there was like literally a month and a half of like even more chaos. Like, I never thought it could get worse, but it did.
Oh my God. Bless your heart. Congratulations on making it this far.
Yeah,
like people wouldn't have.
we're rooting for you, 'cause I'm like,
now I'm just kind of like, I make a joke out of it. Like, I'll pass by the cops on base and I'm like, hi, I'll say July 11th. I'll get to that eventually, but they kicked my door down. Literally kicked my door down, threw me up against the wall, and I sprained my ankle, and they arrested me. I got arrested twice, actually. But this last time, they had like 7 cop cars just for me. And so I'm literally walking out in handcuffs, and I'm like, oh my God, all this for me. And so I can tell they were so mad because I wasn't upset.
Oh no.
so you're still living on the base?
Yes, I'm still living on base.
Okay.
And that's another reason why they're mad, is because Mark is paying for an apartment off base, and all of the BH goes to me to live on, or not to me, but it goes to housing for me to be able to live on base. So he's not profiting being married to me at all, which is not my problem.
I gotta clap on that one.
Look at him. Is there like a reason why the divorce is, like the actual divorce is taking so long, or is it just because
I think because of COVID?
Okay. Oh yeah.
But it's not. I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon, for the simple fact that I keep adding how much I'm going to sue him for because of everything he keeps doing. So now we're up to 60,000, and I'm like, just keep on. And I know he's not going to agree to it. So.
Yeah, that's how I found your thing. I got like, it was the video where you had like all of it was before your accountability meetings. It was like you had the red folders and all of this other stuff. I'm like,
yes.
Let me go find out.
And then
that's
she
the
sent
binder that I turned in initially to the prosecutor. Is a lot.
Wow. But yeah, that's what started this whole thing. Is I saw the binders and I'm like, what's she doing? I'm gonna go find out. Let me go scroll and be nosy on her page.
Yeah, we actually have court Wednesday for the 3rd time for me to fight the protective orders that he keeps getting out on. So he keeps getting protective orders against me, and then he doesn't show up to court, so they get dismissed. And so this is the 3rd one. So now I got to put together a whole another binder of evidence to prove that he's full of crap, you know. So
wow.
So they don't track the protective orders to see, like, that's a pattern. If he keeps filing them and he's not showing up, he's wasting court time and money.
Well, and it's a criminal offense called vexatious conduct. So I am going to request the court charge and arrest him for it on Wednesday.
Okay, yay.
I am tired of it.
Yes, keep us posted on that.
Yeah,
well, please.
So yeah. But what was, your kids, because you said you had kids. Have they been at home since all of this happened? I know one son.
So I have two teens. I have a 17-year-old, and then my oldest son turns 15 on Monday, and then my 5-year-old. So my two teens stayed in Texas with their dad when I moved to Arizona.
Okay.
I just took my 5-year-old with me. Well, December, he spent, actually the end of Thanksgiving, I sent him to Texas to spend the holidays with his dad. So I got him back at the beginning of January, and then sent him back on April 1st to Texas because Mark, started making these false police reports, and PMO and the cops were just showing up at random times, and I didn't want that around my son. So I sent him to Texas, and he's been there with his dad since.
Oh, wow. That's awesome that he didn't have to be there,
because that's definitely stressful. Are the teenagers aware of what's going on, or they're just, you try to keep them out of it?
They're aware, and my daughter, the 17-year-old, is more so aware. She's more involved. She follows my TikTok. I had her young, so we're very close, and she, I feel, has learned a lot vicariously through me and my situations, but I try to talk to her and this is where I went wrong, or I could have done better, or I was valid and they were just trying to manipulate me. You know what I mean? I try to break it down for her to understand.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's good. What was your, hold on a minute. My question. I'm trying to be professional.
I'm the innocent third party. Let me tell you, Stephanie, she started your series in the center. And I am a professional binge watcher, okay? So I can't start in the middle. I have to start in the beginning.
I went back to the beginning and then went back to the middle and went through.
I spent a whole day because the kids kept interrupting me. And I'm like, do I have to go to the bathroom and hide so I can watch this?
Girl. No, I'm just kidding.
It was so good.
Yeah, I was at midnight
watching that. I know it's a lot, and so I really appreciate y'all taking the time to do that, and especially because I'll come up on some people's For You page, so they don't know the story, and they'll just blindly comment, like that one girl that was like, he doesn't want you, girl.
Oh yeah.
First of all, yes, he does. Second of all, I don't want him.
Absolutely.
What is the most common comment that you see, or the common question that you see?
I actually get more support than I do negative comments ever. I think I'm mostly told, usually some people put in comments, but I'll get a lot of DMs saying thank you so much for speaking out because this happened to me or is currently happening to me and I don't have the guts to say so, or you're giving me strength to be able to speak out. Or, some of us didn't have that strength, or I didn't, especially with this last one, somebody told me they were sexually assaulted by a military member and they were too scared to report it. So, they're happy that I'm sitting here and telling my story. And so I think that's probably the most common one of they're thanking me.
Oh, that's good.
And it's not a bunch of negative, because I know the negative ones will just be like,
well, I
have
feel
thick
people
skin.
that haven't been through it.
It's like when somebody tries to talk crap to me and they call me a V word or something. I'm like, but I am though. So I'm confused. Was that supposed to hurt my feelings, or what was supposed to happen? What were you expecting to happen?
Right.
So yeah.
And I saw something on chapter 10, but I can't remember what it was. Because I stayed up late last night to watch it. And now I can't
said, really?
Really? It was 2:00 in the morning. So if I text her at 2:00 in the morning and be like, bitch, she's gonna be here in like 2 minutes because it's an emergency. So I didn't text you. Aren't you happy about that?
I usually am up at that time because my sleep schedule's all jacked up. So
good, because
Well,
if she's messaging you, that means she's not messaging me.
Because I was just like up and I was like, let me finish chapter 10 because I saw you do the intro and everything, and I was like, I'll wait so that I can watch it all at the same time. But yeah, I was 10. So are they gonna pursue charges against the guy or?
So actually, I had posted a picture of Nathan on my Facebook, the one where he is barbecuing, because I was like, wow, my rapist out of here just living his best life. Well, then the army got a hold of my attorney, and my attorney was like, the army's concerned, you don't think they're taking this seriously, and they'd like to set up a conference call with you. And I was like, oh yes, please, I'd love to talk to them.
We got time.
Yeah, I'm like, when? Tell me when. I'm there. No. So they called, and he was like trying to understand why I did that. I said, well, one, it's my story to tell, and if I want to blast him because he violated my body, I'm going to do that. It's my First Amendment right. And he's like, you're absolutely right. I was like, you're not going to sit here and make him the victim for me calling him out whenever he's the one that did this to me. And so exactly. I kind of just went in on him for a little bit, and then he was just giving me an update that NCIS had finished their investigation, and because NCIS with the Navy and Marine Corps were assisting the Army with doing the investigation since it happened on the Marine base. And they said when they handed over the investigation to the Army, their recommendation was they felt there was enough evidence and probable cause that the event occurred. So that's good for me. And that apparently they have that guy listed in the FBI database and some other database as a sex offender currently. So he's supposed to get out of the Army in October, and now they're going to put a legal hold on him so he can't get out until there's a determination made.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's good. That's good news. So I'm glad, because I know the last part that I heard, he hadn't been arrested at all. So
no, he didn't. He was literally, I don't even know how they got the wrong name.
Yeah, that baffled me. That baffled me.
His first name starts with a J, and they thought his name was Mason. I have no, I was like, what? I don't know. It was weird. I'm like, so did they not ID him? I was like, what happened? What happened? I need to know the details. Did he, at first I was like, okay, maybe he up and left my house before people.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, by the time they got there, was he not there?
Right.
Yeah.
Because the
other guy was later on.
Yeah, he was passed out. The other guy was passed out on the patio, so I'm pretty sure they found him. So,
and speaking of, a lot of people, one thing I'm getting is y'all went to a bar when Jen was in the hospital. It's like, okay, Jen has epilepsy. She has seizure issues. So it's not the first time that she was in a hospital.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just something that she has stress-induced seizures. So not only that, but we couldn't go to the hospital because of COVID. So there was nothing we could do. I mean, I guess if people want to judge us for going to a bar because we wanted to get out and get our minds off things, whatever, I don't care. But for somehow somebody mixed up Matt being my rapist. And I'm like, no. I was like, that's Jen's husband.
Matt was passed out.
Yeah.
Minding his business. Don't forget that part.
Because I know they called his command and everything. So what happened with that after he got into it with your sister?
Later that night.
Yeah, he reported it, didn't he?
What?
That he got in, your sister threatened him or something?
Oh, the next day.
Yeah, what happened?
Command took him that night, and the next day he tried to report it to YPD that my sister assaulted him. And I was sitting there having a panic attack. I don't know what happened. Jen was like, I was upstairs, and then I just heard yelling, and I didn't see her hit him. So I was like, I remember him falling next to the barbecue pit because he was drunk. But yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's a hot mess.
It is. And it's funny because, well, it's not funny, but I'll get into this. So after, my rape, and then whenever all that stuff happened 3 days later, it was on a weekly basis that the cops were coming to our house, mostly for EMS because of me or Jen, because of her seizures or like my panic attacks. And it got to the point to where when Jen moved out and I stopped drinking because I went sober for like a month or so, they were like, they weren't coming to the house anymore. So I would see them and I would tell people like, oh, I kind of missed out coming to the house. I'm about to just like put a noise complaint on myself to like get y'all to come over. So it's funny.
So have things calmed down from like the past few months, or is it still just?
No, 2 days ago they stopped me at the gate and said they needed me to pull over and double check because they remember seeing my name on a disbarment. And I'm like, I'm not disbarred. I live on this base. They would be stupid if they did that, And so it was just like them harassing me. And they're like, oh, well, never mind. It's just you show disbarment from building 660, which is where my rapist lived. And I'm like, why are y'all just stopping me about this 3 months later? Like, are you that desperate for reasons to cause me stress? So, yeah, no, I had to go and raise hell at headquarters after that.
It's good. Always good to raise hell.
Yeah. I told him,
I'll bring the pitchforks.
I was like, you need to remove this disbarment letter because it gives them a reason to like give me hell. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care if I've never interacted with a police officer. It's not going to be a good interaction. Like, I'm going to be a bitch to them. So it's better that we both, avoid each other.
So has is it the Yuma police department that was like constantly coming to your house?
Oh no, it was Marine Police.
Have they slowed down?
Yuma police come a few times, but it's the Marine Police usually.
Okay, so because I know you said they were there like almost like multiple times a day, one day, and so
that day it was a combination of the Marine Police, my husband's command, Imperial County Sheriffs, and Yuma Police Department.
No, I'll just not be. I'm not home. From the door, I'm not home.
I tried that. That's why they kicked my door down.
That does not work, Cotton.
No, it didn't work.
Or what was that for kids where you'd be like, when you were a kid, your mom would be like, tell them I'm not here. My mama says she's not here.
Well, they called me and they're like, we're outside your door. I'm like, okay, well, it's going to get hot soon. So hopefully somebody could bring you some food and water. Because they're like, we're not going anywhere. And I'm like, okay. And then they called again. And I was like, well, make yourself useful and pick up my cigarette butts. Like, and then the second time they arrested me, I opened the door naked. So I already knew it was them. So I'm like, if anybody's gonna be uncomfortable, it's gonna be all of us. So
did they take you like that? Did they make you put clothes on?
Yes.
They took you? Okay, I was like, I would have. Okay.
He was like, because they weren't gonna arrest me. It was what I said to them that got me arrested. I didn't myself, but
sounds like you, Cotton. Sounds just like you.
You just leave.
I was like, so this is why people don't have much integrity these days. No, I'm just kidding. It gets you arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd be quiet. Just be like,
is that the story we're going with today?
That's the story we're going with today.
Yeah, I need to start doing that. Like, I don't know. You tell me.
Don't believe that, Steph. Don't believe that. Y'all are the same person.
Like, you tell me. Was that text message sent? I don't know. Shit, I think you're the one that has to prove that I sent it, right?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Do better.
I always have plausible deniability. Don't know.
Yes.
What? I do. I don't know about your escapades.
Oh my goodness.
But what are your plans going forward? Like after all of this resolves, are you going to move back to New Braunfels?
Yeah, so I actually have a house that I'm about to pay my second month of rent on that I have not been able to move to there in New Braunfels. So I'm hoping to move the weekend of October 16th.
Ooh.
We shall see. I'm trying. When I went to headquarters the other day, I asked them if the Marine Corps could pay for me to move, and there's something called a safety move, and I'm like, he was like, I don't know if you'd qualify for that. I was like, excuse me, given the circumstances of my Marine has been assaulting me in this house, and then an Army sexually assaulting me in this house, and me being constantly harassed by the police on this base, I think that's a safety move. Like it should classify as one.
Right. I think you'll be okay.
I was like, or I can just stay here longer. We can just all become acquainted.
I mean, we'll come visit. You ready to go to Arizona, Cut?
Yes.
I mean, I don't have anything. I don't have any warrants. Yay!
I don't have any warrants.
So we can get on base.
Yes.
Yes. So, how many more chapters do we have to look forward to?
Oh my word.
Oh my
I
God,
haven't
that
really
sounds good.
calculated.
I like what I'm hearing.
I haven't really calculated that because we're barely sitting at June 13th. And then I woke up out of my coma like 5 days later. So like the 18th, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
So we still got a lot of ground to cover.
Oh my goodness.
A lot.
And stuff that hasn't even happened yet. So
I'll just say in that
no.
month after my rape, I think I went to the hospital 9 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Thank God for TRICARE.
Okay,
Yeah.
TRICARE is amazing.
Thank you.
TRICARE is amazing. Look at God. We're definitely going to have you back on once everything
yes,
is done,
we
because-
are.
I will say that they titled me incorrectly at one point. That's why they knocked on my door and arrested me. And I had to spend 4 days in a mental hospital, and that was entertaining. So
Are we going to get a chapter on that?
Yeah, a chapter.
there's literally people arguing with nothing. With like in their head. Like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm not crazy. Like, I was just raped. Like, I just have a little bit of trauma. I'm not insane. Like,
I just have a little bit of trauma.
like I should not be here.
Oh, good. Yeah, that sounds like a whole chapter on its own.
Yes. So I don't know how many chapters are left, but I will say that there's still a lot.
We got some time.
Yeah. Because what are we in? We're almost in October, so we still have July, August, September.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then
I have
it
stuff
sucks,
to look
like,
forward to. I'm gonna go through a lot of wine stuff. Go through a lot of wine.
all I know is I'm gonna go to the ball with someone, so there better be a Marine out there that's willing to take me. No, I'm just kidding.
Y'all hear that, Marines? She's single. She's available.
She wants to go to the ball. She has a dress and she's ready.
I'm willing to do an agreed divorce, so that way they don't get in trouble. We could just make this happen, all right?
Yes, like just go to the ball, treat her right, or I don't know. We're gonna, how Beyonce has the Beehive. We might have to create a Steph Hive.
Steph Hive.
Yes.
A
Steph
Steph
Hive.
Hive.
I like it. Hashtag Steph Hive.
I think
Steph
one
Hive.
like common misconception is like that I'm attacking the military, and it's not that. I'm attacking crooked military.
There's a
it's
difference.
like I love the military and I love military members, but these people need to be held accountable because they're not above the law.
Exactly.
Oh, you did mention that you had a few that did take follow procedures, take everything.
Oh yes, there are. I forget her name. I actually just saw her. She was working the gate a few days ago, and her last name starts with R. She's the one I told to pick up the cigarette butts, and she just kind of laughed, and she was like, "Well, I'm out here killing your fire ants." I'm like, "All right, you're good. That works." So she was super patient, and then she calls me back that day, and she was like, "It's just me, like, can I just go in there by myself? I was here yesterday." And then I heard a cop in the background saying, as soon as she opens the door, we're getting her. I was like, tell him I can hear him, dumbass. She's like, dude, I'm on the phone. And then, so she's really cool. She's super professional. There's another one. I don't remember her name either, but I had to call PMO.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hi, it's MCAS Yuma's favorite resident. She already knew who I was. She just started laughing.
So you're like infamous on base.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm the only
they talk about her in the break room.
Yeah, I drive a silver Audi SUV, and so I'm the only car like that on base. So anytime they see me coming through the gate, like I can already see like the cops looking at each other like, oh. So I can tell who likes me, who doesn't know me, and then who hates me.
Oh my God.
But
Oh my
I don't
God.
care.
I look forward to seeing where this story goes.
Yeah,
I'm
I would too. Like, I can't wait.
I am on the cliff following every page.
I just recently put on Facebook because I'm like, at this point, oh, so I gotta add this too, but so I just found out that 2 weeks ago, I think it was, my husband was in Applebee's yelling at a bartender, calling her a fucking bitch, like in front of everyone. And so 2 days ago, I talked to that girl, and she said that she wasn't even working the bar. She went behind there to get Jello shots, and he's like, so how's Stephanie? And she's like, well, shouldn't I be asking you that? And he's like, well, how's she doing? You know, and so they kind of had like a back and forth thing, and she walked off, and he tried to like report it to the manager. Well, as he was getting up to leave, that's when he started yelling at her, and I'm like, why is he even asking about me anyway?
And why would the bartender know that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, we frequently went there, so she.
Okay, I was just like, why would she know that?
I'm like, okay, stalker much?
I know.
Exactly.
Calm down.
But yeah, no, there's a lot that keeps happening actively. So I feel like once I get to a point where I feel like, okay, well, we're all caught up, something else happens. So we shall see. But
My thing. Okay. Okay. There. My thing froze. I had another. Oh, your family in New Braunfels and everything. How are they like being like supportive and everything like that?
they're
everything
very,
that's
they're very supportive. I am constantly. I have two sisters, an older and a younger sister, and they're constantly Skyping, you know, checking in, and same with my mom. My 5-year-old's dad, I talk to him more frequently than my older kid's dad, but he's the one who helped my sister come 2 times. So the day that I was raped and then the day I was in a coma, she flew right back because she had just flown back to Texas the day before. So then the next day she flew back to Yuma. So he's the one that's helped her come back to take care of everything. But yeah, no, they've been very, very supportive and just like get back home, you know, be around family. Get away from that mess. My mom's really concerned. My mom and my dad are really concerned about my safety, but I try to make a joke out of it. And I'm like, you know what? I put it on Facebook. I was like, if the Marines finally come and kill me, y'all better use my best picture or I'm coming back and haunting you. Like,
Girl, we got people ready.
Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah. But I don't have any more questions. Do you have questions, C?
I don't. I just thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate
for
your
coming
whole
on.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank y'all for having me.
Hopefully you can come back in like maybe a few weeks or when stuff develops and let it build up on TikTok. Oh yeah, let me put your TikTok on there. It's Steph of Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, Steph of Texas is the TikTok. Go all the way to the beginning, chapter 1, episode 1, part
It is
1.
worth your time.
It
Watch
was
in the
definitely
bathroom.
worth it. I was at work.
Yes.
Watch it while you walk to your car.
Yes, I was at work in between calls going. Okay,
She was trying to video chat me, but I'm like,
and I was like,
can't talk right now. I'm watching Steph of Texas. You did this to me. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna give you some time. And she's like, did you see what happened? And I was like, no, because you want a video chat. Now we'll watch Steph of Texas.
That's funny.
yeah, I'm just like, I'm at work. I'm like, y'all are calling. Stop calling so I can finish this, please. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a great story. I'm glad you like told your story. It's definitely a lot of people that go through the exact same thing, but don't want the same thing because it's like you don't get believed or anything like that. So
you were
definitely
so
have to recognize it. Yeah,
because I was in an abusive relationship, but he wasn't in the military, so
yeah,
but I understand the abuse part of it.
Even whenever I went and to follow up on the adultery, like when I went to Sergeant Major, they couldn't find the police report of the assault, and I'm like, oh, imagine that. So I just, you know, I had to just raise a lot of hell for it to get to where it is now with the prosecutor.
Well, we're here. We need to share something. You let us know.
Oh,
yes. Your backs.
Well, thank y'all. And
thank
yes, I
you
want to make it to Dallas so we can have girl time.
You know we got you.
And that's gonna require you to come out your house. So I don't want to hear
Exactly. It requires you to come out of your house.
You know what?
It's okay. I got the address, Steph. We just went.
All of my stuff is here.
It's gonna be like a kidnap. We're gonna have to go
Yes!
kidnap you.
No, don't give her any ideas. She's been trying to like legit kidnap me for like ever now. Like she's like seriously just trying to get like me in a bag and take me somewhere.
You
I
would,
got you.
you would have been fine. You would have got back to your things. Okay. So,
I was just watching Split the other day, and in the beginning of it, I don't know if y'all seen it, how he has that spray and they go to sleep.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yes.
oh my God, I need that. And my
I
non-boyfriend
do.
looks at me slowly and was like, why would you need that? I'm
I'm
like,
not to judge you, first of all. And if you find the link, hit my DM. You know.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You know.
But yeah, it's just crazy. Oh, did I tell you?
Angels Radio appreciates you.
Oh, yeah, we do. We definitely want to have you back and on some of the other shows that we have. So we definitely want you back, and I would definitely have you back on with us for more awkward stories and crazy stories.
So
Yes,
many
I'm
awkward
down.
stories. And then when you come down, you could do the cooking show with us because I have a cooking show. So
What?
Yes,
Yes,
cooking,
we gonna be
cooking.
eating
Girls,
it.
my other love language.
yes, we got you. I promise.
Okay, good.
I promise. It was so good talking to you.
Y'all
Well,
too.
great talking to you. So I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully, I will be on your we'll stake out your TikTok. So, but everybody, please go follow Steph of Texas on TikTok. And are you on Instagram?
I am. It's the same username.
Same username on Instagram. So you can keep up with the story.
We know we are.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
day, girl. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in to the first episode of Awkward Vibes with your girl, Tootie.
And Cotton.
We love you lots. Catch you next Saturday.
Yes, next Saturday, I think it's just going to be us two with our stories.
We have lots of them.
Yes.
Thanks for joining.
Okay, toodles.
Bye.